Good evening, I'm Jay Masters.
And I'm Cheri Adams. Delaware County Commissioners took steps today to move forward with the new county jail. They first voted to accept an agreement with the city to exchange space in the new City Hall and Safety Complex, which would mean the new jail would be a public safety complex. The new complex will hold the county sheriff's department, city police, and a 98-cell jail. Commissioners also worked out a tentative agreement which will allow the current jail to be functional while the new jail is being built. The second agreement means the safety complex will be built about 40 feet south of where the previous plans indicated.
An armed robber is the suspect of a police search in Anderson this evening. The bandit held up the Hooks drugstore at the 4th Street and State Road 9 bypass around 2:30 this morning. He's described as a white male, 5 feet 9 inches tall, with a medium build, light brown hair, and a mustache. A clerk says he took everything in the till and fled on foot. Lieutenant Terry Richwine says no shots were fired in the incident. Former Muncie South and Florida State University pitching star Richie Lewis has been arrested in Florida for firing a pistol at a streetlight and threatening a police officer. Lewis is now a member of the Montreal Expos farm system. He's also charged with carrying a concealed firearm and discharging a firearm in public. This is not the first time the pitching ace has been in trouble with the law. Last February, he entered a plea of no contest to an aggravated battery charge. He fought another student at Florida State in the incident involving his girlfriend. If convicted of the charges, Lewis could face a $6,000 fine and 6 years in prison.
Richmond firefighters were kept busy most of last night and this morning trying to control a blaze that destroyed the home of Tom Eberwine. The fire was first reported at 5:30 yesterday afternoon, and firemen were still on the scene at 10:30 this morning, extinguishing hot spots. Eberwine explained how he discovered the fire.
All of a sudden, the fire alarms or the smoke detectors were going off, and I came around the outside and heard noise in the basement door, and I opened it up, and I saw a fire there in front of the furnace. I went into the house trying to get the fire extinguishers. I couldn't find them. Then I tried to use the phone. It was dead. I grabbed their dog out and ran across the street and phoned the fire department.
Richmond Fire Chief Don Trotter said the fire was caused by a faulty furnace in the home's basement. The flames were then fed by several cans of paint thinner, which were stored in the home. Firefighters were also hampered by a lack of water, since the nearest fire hydrant was too far away to be of use, and they had to truck in supplies. Damage to the home is estimated at more than $45,000.
The highway funding mechanism has undergone a few more changes in legislative action. Under the revised bill approved by the Indiana Senate, the state tax on gasoline would go up by 4 cents a gallon. That bill differs slightly from the version passed by the House earlier in the session, which called for 3 cents of the 4-cent hike on gasoline. The amendment calls for 3 cents of the 4-cent tax hike to go to state highways and the other penny to county and local projects. The amended highway funding bill is now eligible for a final vote in the Senate. If passed, it goes to the House for approval. If the House approves it, approves the Senate version, it then goes to the governor for final approval. If the House fails to pass the bill, it goes to conference committee, so differences can be ironed out. In other legislative news, workmen's compensation in Indiana could receive a boost under an amendment adopted in the House of Representatives yesterday. The amended bill would set the weekly benefit for temporary disabled at $256 for workers injured after July 1st. That figure would climb to $274 in 1989 and to $294 in 1990. The current weekly disability payment for Indiana workers is $190, putting Indiana among the worst states for disability payments. The workman's comp bill passed by the Senate would raise the disability payment to a 1990 level of only $253. After that raise was adopted, Muncie Representative Hurley Goodall tried to convince lawmakers to increase it even more. That attempt failed.
Ball State's president, John Worthen, is the third highest paid president of a state-assisted university. That's the word after looking at annual salary reports from the state schools. Dr. Worthen is paid $100,000 a year for his leadership. He is third behind Purdue's Stephen Beering and Indiana University's Thomas Ehrlich. Beering's annual salary is $155,000, which includes $30,000 from the Purdue Research Foundation. Ehrlich makes $150,000, including $20,000 in grants from the IU Foundation. The president of Indiana Vocational Technical College, Gerald Lamkin, makes $86,000 a year. Other schools have not filed their annual salary reports at this time. Well, the Radisson's new acting general manager in Muncie says he's confident financial troubles and construction will be finished by the convention time in April. The hotel's additional facility, called the Tower, could be finished in 30 to 60 days, and business is picking up after last week's news of possible bankruptcy. The Radisson is over $3 million in debt, and convention groups due to book the new Civic Center are standing by until construction is finished. The hotel's general partner, Robert Gabbard, appointed Robert Overtomb as acting general manager of the hotel yesterday. He told me so far he's concerned about assuring employees their jobs are secure.
It has probably been more negative on them than it has been on anybody. Which is quite understandable. I mean, they're looking at, do I have a job tomorrow or don't I? They will have jobs. Back in December, the best analogy was Mission Impossible. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. And so far we're doing pretty good and we haven't gained any weight, so.
Overtomb's management role was approved by local and out-of-town investors until a reorganization can be arranged with Gabbard. It would mean a new general partnership and a professional management firm to run the Radisson.
Marion residents may be wearing buttons today to protest Olympic commentary provided by ABC television. Marion radio station WBAT says it will distribute buttons that protest remarks made by figure skating analyst Dick Button. The ban button buttons show a red mark through the commentator's face, a la Ghostbusters logo from the popular movie. WBAT program director Bill Jones says residents feel Marion skaters Kim and Wayne Siebold are getting a raw deal from both Olympic judges and from Button. Jones says Button's commentary after Sunday's opening round indicated the Siebold's never had a chance to win a medal. The Siebold's were in 10th place in the pairs competition following their short program. Last night they skated the longer program at the Winter Olympics in Calgary.
In our world news tonight, voters are at the polls in New Hampshire for the nation's first primary. Surveys show a close race between Vice President George Bush and Senator Bob Dole for the GOP spot. Governor Michael Dukakis of Massachusetts should easily win on the Democratic ticket. Conrail engineer Ricky Gates pleaded guilty today to manslaughter by locomotive in the bloodiest wreck in Amtrak history. 11 months ago, he was accused of smoking marijuana before pulling his freight train in front of an Amtrak train in Baltimore. 16 people died as a result. And we may still have snow on the ground, but the weather is perfect for celebrating in New Orleans, where hundreds of thousands are jamming the streets for the Mardi Gras. And now around the state, Shelbyville is trying to land a plant that would employ 150 to 200 people. Michael Hulk of the Chamber of Commerce declined to identify the company, but says it intends to build a plant at a cost of up to $20 million. A helicopter accident south of Martinsville today injured 3 people, 2 of them seriously. Police say the craft was carrying the pilot and 2 cameramen for an Indianapolis film production company. And Darwin Carlisle, the 9-year-old girl who lost both feet to frostbite, is up and walking on her artificial limbs at La Rabida Children's Hospital in Chicago.
The economic success of any downtown area depends largely on its accessibility. That's the theme behind Lieutenant Governor John Mutz's Main Street program, and it's about to affect the future of downtown Newcastle. At a news conference yesterday, Mutz announced a $1.3 million project to widen and rebuild State Road 38, Newcastle's main business artery. Now here with details and a look down the road to speak to us is City Attorney David Copenhaver. We appreciate your being here today.
Thank you, Jay.
First of all, this is not a project, revitalizing downtown Newcastle is not something new that just came about. This is something you've been working on for quite some time, is that right?
That's correct, Jay. We've been working at it for about 2 years now, trying to get the ball rolling, and really got underway last fall.
The problems that Newcastle is experiencing right now are the same types of problems that cities and downtowns are having all over the world, or at least all over the U.S. What are you trying to do to make it a more vibrant part of the community?
Well, you mentioned the Main Street concept, Jay, and that's a state program that we're trying to adopt locally. I think essentially what you have to do with a downtown is recognize the realities of a downtown. It's different. Times have changed. There are new trends. You have to accept that, figure out what's going to work, and go with that. And every community has similarities. Every community is a little different. You're doing it here in Muncie. They're doing it all over the state and all over the nation.
I know this program involves widening 38, but what are some of the cosmetic changes we can look for?
Well, we're hoping to have some interesting things there, Cheri. are talking to some architectural people, and I can't mention their names yet because we don't have them under contract. We don't have the agreements worked out. And as you may recall from the governor's announcement, Lieutenant Governor's announcement, this is an '89 project. So we've got the time to get those kind of plans down. Newcastle right now has some planters, for lack of a better word, back when the downtowns were all being mauled. And Muncie went through that, Richmond went through that, we went through a partial phase. We had these planters put in. Well, that's fine, except when you widen a road, the planters have to go. We want to do something nice that will replace those, that will have a theme through downtown. We'll make it an attractive place to work and be.
Mm-hmm. How difficult is making your job to revitalize the downtown with, say, the pullout of the JCPenney store most recently?
Well, certainly that makes it tough. You like to see every business stay. There's no doubt about that. But those things aren't unexpected. Again, that's a regional trend, a national trend. The Sears, the Pennies, they've been going to the large malls. We all have to recognize that. That's a shopping trend. You accept that, and then you go with what works. If it's specialty shops, support for professional offices. We've got a lot of people working downtown. Governmental people, insurance companies. We've got a post office downtown. You go with what's there. You find out what works. Restaurants, card shops, stationers. There's a lot of things that do work in downtown. You go with those things, you find out what they are, and you promote them. And that's what we're trying to do.
What are you doing then to find out what's going to work in downtown Newcastle?
That's the stage we're in right now, and that's you look at your professionals, you have a marketing study, you consult people. We hope to utilize your people here at Ball State. That's our regional resource, and the people there are knowledgeable, and hopefully they'll be able to give us ideas. We can draw from what the State Department of Commerce has available. Look to cities that have worked. We have cities here in Indiana that have done a remarkable job with their downtowns. We see what works there, and we draw from each of those, and that's what we hope to do.
Okay, well, we will be following this story and hope that you will also keep us up to date as to what you're doing.
We sure will.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wall Street came off a three-day holiday break and bounced higher with a late rally in control. The Dow Industrials gained 22 points to 2005, the first time at more than 2,000 since January 7th. Trade was moderate at 134 million shares, and advances led declines 4-3 at the closing bell. Stocks of local interest reflected the trends on Wall Street as there were more gainers than losers. Ball Corp was up 1/4. Chrysler stock climbed 3/8. Eli Lilly up 1. General Motors, the big gainer of the day, up 1 7/8. Marsh stock and Westinghouse were the two losers on the day. They were each down 1/8. Sports Director Bob Poplin now joins us for our Athlete of the Week.
We go back to the basketball court this week for our online 49 Prep Athlete of the Week. Muncie Burris senior John Shondell has been one of the hottest players in the area over the last 3 weeks. Last week, he scored 25 points against both Knightstown and Brown County, and is a big reason the Owls have won 10 of their last 12. With all the basketball talent in Muncie, it might be easy to overlook Burris's John Shondell, but the senior guard is averaging 18.7 points a game and shoots 59% from the field and 81% from the free throw line.
He's scoring a lot of points for us in the last 7 or 8 ball games to bring his average up, but at the same time, he's averaging almost 7 rebounds a game, and he's been a real leader on the floor. The other kids look to him for certain things, and you know, he has led us in several categories in those ball games besides just scoring.
Shondell tore ligaments in his ankle in the opener against Central. He's been bothered by the injury most of the season. In fact, Shondell's season and that of Burris have gone pretty much the same. A very slow start, but now they're both red hot. Burris has won 7 in a row, and Shondell is the city's leading scorer in that stretch.
It really affected me mentally. It's kind of tough to get my confidence back because the first 2 or 3 games off the ankle injury, I shot about 20% from the field. And then even when my ankle got healed for a while, it took me a while to get my confidence back, but I think I'm finally starting to get it back now.
He was doing a lot of things for us when he had his ankle injury, rebounding and getting the ball in the right positions. But now as he's completely healed over that, physically and emotionally, his shooting has come around, and and consequently, he's averaging almost 24 points a game in our 7-game winning streak.
Shondell says this is his last season of organized basketball. An accomplished volleyball and baseball player, he hopes to pitch for Ball State next year. But as far as this season,
well, of late, I'm really satisfied with it, but I'm not going to be real satisfied with this season unless we win the Muncie sectional.
so that's the goal, to win it all?
Oh, definitely. It's been my goal ever since I was about 7 years old. I always used to dream of winning that thing, and I still think we can do it.
Muncie Burris' John Shondell, our online 49 prep athlete of the week. Good luck in the sectional to Burris. The odds are definitely stacked against them, however.
But you never know in Indiana basketball.
They're hot.
You never know, that's right. The weather's not.
No, you're going to throw the ball over to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? It was warmer today. It looks like it's going to get warmer. This is great news. I hope it holds out. We have 38 degrees right now in Muncie under partly cloudy skies. Our winds have shifted. They're coming from the south at 17 to 25 miles per hour. We have 29.90 on the barometer. Our high inched up past the 40 mark today. The warm record 60 set in 1976. It got down to 20 degrees. The 1979 record 9 below zero. Now checking temperatures around the state, it's 39 in Indianapolis, 42 in Evansville, it's 33 in Fort Wayne, 32 in South Bend, and Terre Haute is reporting 40. Tonight we can look for partly cloudy skies with a low of around 27, which isn't too bad. It'll be even warmer tomorrow. We'll have a high of around 43 with partly sunny skies again. Wednesday night it'll be partly cloudy, and we do have a 30% chance of light snow with a low of 25. That's the only bad news. The outlook for Thursday, cloudy with a high of 37. Friday, we'll have a chance of rain or snow again with a high of 39. And the beginning of what could be a great weekend, partly cloudy skies on Saturday with a high of 40.
I'll take that any day.
I can live with 43 and partly sunny. Central trying to live with being the #1 team in the state right now, not still succeeding at it, but it's not been an easy road. Muncie Central still on top of the UPI boys basketball poll, but not by much after a pair of squeakers last weekend. The Bearcats are a narrow choice over Concord, which moved past Richmond into second this week. Bedford is fourth, and South Bend St. Joseph's fifth. Then comes Kokomo, Indianapolis Cathedral. Anderson Highland moves up 3 spots to 8th. Oregon Davis and Gary Roosevelt round out the top 10. Jay County is still number 11, and Mississinawa drops down to 16th. Temple is pulling away as the nation's #1 college basketball team, while Indiana pulled out of the top 20 in the UPI poll this week. The Owls gathered 29 of the 39 first-place votes. Arizona replaces Purdue as #2. Oklahoma is 4th and North Carolina 5th. The second 5 is Duke, Brigham Young, Pittsburgh, Kentucky, and Michigan. Iowa is the only other Big Ten team left in the top 20. Ball State is preparing for tomorrow night's battle with Central Michigan. The Cards are 5 and 6. The Chippewas 8 and 2. Ball State surpassed just about everybody's expectations so far, and head coach Rick Majerus is happy with the community support. However, he has a message for the BSU student body.
If there's anything I'm not happy about at all, it's the support they get from the student body and that. I mean, you know, and I really feel bad that, you know, their own peer group doesn't come out and support them. You know, we're going to be good in 3 years, and you'll see we'll fill this place. And then there'll be all kinds of front runners sitting there patting us on the back. But, you know, we really need them now. But I mean, for the kids, it's a big thing. You know, peer group recognition, peer pressure, and here, you know, I mean, you know, it's just kind of sad.
Ball State assistant basketball coach Leonard Drake has been promoted to the position of associate coach. Drake is in his 3rd season with the program and is the only assistant remaining from Al Brown's staff. Ball State's women's team has a chance to build a winning streak tomorrow night instead of trying to break a losing streak when they host Central Michigan. One player who's become a real key player for the Cardinals is Jenny Eckert. The sophomore guard from Huntington has taken over the team lead in scoring at 11.7 points a game. She scored in double figures 13 of the last 16. That includes a career-high 23 against Western Michigan last week.
Jenny's game has really been coming around. I think she's a quality leader for us, not only personally, but with what she does out on the floor. And we've moved her some. She doesn't always play in the point guard spot for us. She sometimes is playing at the off guard, and I think that has opened her up more for her shooting.
I'm starting to look for my shot more when I'm open. Last year, a lot, I passed off. You know, I was more looking for the assist than looking for my shot. But this year, I think that I'm going to have to score some points, too, if we're going to be successful.
Eckert isn't just a scorer, though. She's the team leader in assists and is rewriting the school record book for steals.
When I'm out there, I'm just looking to play good defense, and if the steal comes, the steal comes, but I don't look for a steal right away when I go out there.
Purdue took a big step in its quest for the Big Ten title by beating Iowa in Iowa City last night, 73-66. The Boilermakers were able to slow down the Hawkeyes' running game. Anderson's Troy Lewis threw down 20 points, including 5 three-pointers. Purdue is 10-1, a game ahead of Michigan, and 3 in front of Iowa. The Indiana Pacers are in great shape to make a move in the Central Division. They're coming off a 3-1 West Coast trip and have 5 of their next 6 at home, beginning with New York tonight. The Pacers are all smiles after their success out west. Jack Ramsey says the reason for that success was simply some extra effort by the players. That's the way it has to be if they're to become contenders.
I agree with you. I see no reason why you shouldn't play with high intensity all the time. That was my lament at the time. When you're not winning, you can place a lot of it on those 2 qualities.
Even the often injured Scott Skiles is back, and he says he's ready to start making a consistent contribution.
I've been trying to concentrate a little too much on what's the right thing for me to do, what the team wants me to do, you know, how I fit in with the other players, as opposed to just being myself and letting it happen.
This is it, folks. Here's the final Coaches Association High School Wrestling poll. Muncie South, with 4 qualifiers for this weekend's state meet, continues to move up, but the Rebels are the only area team represented in the top 20. Evansville Mater D still tops the list. Defending state champ Belmont hangs on to number 2. Chesterton, Crown Point, and Beech Grove fill out the top 5. South is as high as it's been all season at number 12.
Well, speaking of sports, we're going to hear how East Central Indiana residents feel how popular this year's winter, I'll get it out, how popular this year's Winter Olympics are after we check out how commodities traded today. There were far more losers than gainers on the commodities market today. March corn was down 2 3/4. March oat up 1 1/4. March beans lost 7 on the day's trade, while March wheat was down 1 1/4. February cattle gained 22 cents. February hogs a dime better than that, up 32 cents. February gold lost $1.10, and February silver was off a penny.
Well, the Winter Olympics started last week in Calgary, Canada. But how popular are this year's Winter Olympics? That's what we wanted to find out when we asked East Central Indiana residents, have you ever been watching, or have you been watching this winter's Olympics?
Not yet. Perhaps, you know, toward the end I will. I've gone in and out of the family room a couple of times, and I've seen the people going up and down the slopes, and I can hear it from the kitchen when I'm hurrying to prepare a meal, but I haven't really stayed there and watched TV.
I'm watching them every night. I think they're exciting. I like all of the events. There's not any one I choose. I'm not a sports person, and I don't watch sports normally, but this is just once every 4 years, and it's thrilling.
I'm watching as much as I can. If I'm not home to watch, I'm taping what I'm not watching. I was able to attend the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles 4 years ago and really know the thrill of attending a competition like this, so I don't want to miss anything.
Not real close, just kind of flip the station back and forth and see what's going on. If there's something interesting going on, I'll usually keep on there for a few minutes. Been watching the speed skating and some of the alpine skiing and the luge, but other than that, not too much.
Very little. I watch some of the reruns on the news, sport news or something like that, but when there's too much basketball on ESPN and on some of the other channels, I watch basketball. Especially when Purdue was on last night, I watched it instead of the Olympics.
Well, I will say my family's probably paying more attention than I am. I have 3 girls who are very interested in the skating, speed, and the 2-minute couples program that they had. Particularly the Russian little girl, she's 16, I forget what her name is exactly, but they were interested in seeing how she did because the media has really pushed her and shown her in cute shots and everything like that. So, but I would say that they're watching it a lot more than I am.
Online 49 is made possible in part by grants from the following businesses.
InsoQuip Sealmaster, a division of Lewick Quality Gauge and Tool, proudly supports this local news broadcast. InsoQuip offers the Sealmaster interior energy-efficient insulating windows and door seals. Sealmaster windows are custom-made for individual installation on any size window for home or business. Sealmaster insulating windows from InsoQuip, located at 4401 South Delaware Drive in Muncie.
The Bookshop, serving East Central Indiana with books and gifts. The Bookshop specializes in ordering rare or out-of-print books. A children's cave offers special interest for the young reader. Cards and stationery can also be found at the Bookshop, located at Lindenbrook Plaza in Muncie.
That's all we have time for. Have a good evening.